And hey, Facebook. Yeah, he's got plastic bowling pins upstairs. But
Nice.
So anyway, hey, Facebook. Happy Monday. Look, it's all three of us.
I know.
We're here.
It's more rare than finding a dodo bird.
Well, they're extinct, so.
I'm saying we're not going to be extinct. It's just rare to find us all three here, but we are here. We're going to be talking. Well, we're going to do a listener question show like we do, and we're going to talk Gran Destino Tower. So stay tuned for that.
That's true.
I know.
Favorite resort. I think it got better. I haven't been there yet because we had to go home, but I can't wait to hear about it.
I've been.
It was awesome.
I love Coronado. Coronado's such a great resort. And it's a steal right now to book.
I know.
That's the thing. It's a steal. Hey, James. Hey, Rhonda Lee. All right, let's get cracking. You guys are here early. We're going to get going.
We're ready to go. Let's do it.
15:12 already. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 1512 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents, of course, over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. So glad to actually be back behind the mic here in the studios as we recorded early for the shows while we were all on vacation. So this is actually a fresh one this week, and we're going to be talking, of course, today, listener questions, but Friday, I'm really excited because Pam is back, and we're going to talk about Gran Destino Tower and everything Coronado Springs now. Oh, I cannot wait. But let's get the ladies introduced. Joining me first from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and the Mouse for Less, we have Rikki. And Rikki, guess what?
What?
Date for the Skyliner.
I know. I'm so excited. It's official. September 29th. So I'm totally going to plug it because why not? If you want, we have awesome Disney Gondola Skyliner shirts for our BR Guest podcast store. So if you want to wear your gondola shirt while you're on the Disney Skyliner, you can get one. Yay!
Yeah, definitely send us a selfie if you have the shirt on the gondolas, and that'll be everywhere on social media, I promise. And I will tell you, when I saw that announcement earlier this week, I may or may not have gotten ready to book a trip because, I mean, think about it. That's like Illuminations goes away.
Yes.
The new show will debut, and you can ride a sky bucket.
No, Mike, you're a bad influence on me. No.
Oh,
I've already had to look at my dates for the remainder of the year of what I have going on versus how many vacation days that I have left. And I'm realizing that I'm quickly running out of vacation days, even though I have more than ever this year. So I'm like, okay, how can I finagle my way down to Walt Disney World for the Skyliner opening? I don't know that I can, but we'll see what I can do. So.
I'm so excited because, I mean, it's like the great tease in the sky for like the last couple of months. Like when we were there, you know, like a lot of times when we were there, you know, a few weeks back, you'd see that the wires were empty, you know, like, oh,
yes.
You would walk out and all of a sudden they're all over the place, like Skittles in the air. You know, it's like, just let me ride one. So yeah,
I want to fly.
I mean, I always thought the monorail was more of an attraction than transportation. These are going to be the same thing. It's going to be a ride.
It's going to be totally a ride. And you know, I booked my hotel at Pop Century on the off chance that maybe they'd be testing with people by that time. I was like, maybe I can get on one, and then no, it doesn't. It didn't work out that way.
All right. Also joining us, she's back, Pam Forster, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, so glad to have you back. What's going on?
I'm glad to be back. I think, I don't know, it's hard. I was gone for a long time. I had meetings right before the cruise, and then it was just crazy. So anyways, I'm back at home. In the office. So today was really my first day back in the office, and that's sort of a rude awakening.
I bet. Yes.
It's not easy.
Yeah, no.
I mean, with, you know, Gran Destino Tower, Forrester Industry Towers. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Same difference, right?
I wish I had the Kronos Club here at home.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I could use someone making my coffee early, and then, you know, continental breakfast and light hors d'oeuvres in the evening. I mean, you know.
Yes.
Like Hannah and Steve, they need to bring you a light hors d'oeuvre.
I know,
yes.
Right? I could use some light hors d'oeuvres and a complimentary cocktail, for goodness sake.
Absolutely. And you got to have the little cute, adorable Mickey Mouse sugar cubes because, oh my gosh, how cute were those?
Those are so cute.
Yes.
I know. So anyways, yeah, looking forward to talking about that though on Friday's show.
All righty, we're going to answer your listener questions here on a Wednesday. So if you have questions, drop those in here in the Facebook chat as we record live. And we have some from the inbox. Actually, we have a ton from the inbox. It just kept
Sure we do, yes.
World. So let's get to Ashley here. Her questions about split stays. She says, hey, I have a quick question for an upcoming trip in January of 2020. They are planning a boardwalk stay. We're unable to get to the boardwalk for our entire trip, so we decided to stay one night at Animal Kingdom, Kidani Village to make it a full week. Then we saw our best flight would get us in at 5:47 p.m. and using the Disney math, we decided to add another day earlier and stay our first night at All Star Music so we could spend an entire day at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Let's see how this is. They were going a day earlier. Then they got a better flight. So they're going a day earlier than a day earlier at different resorts. So what they have now is a boardwalk trip that's 8 nights total, staying at All Star Music for one night, then Animal Kingdom, Kidani Village for one night, then 6 nights at Boardwalk. I know there are, let's see, I want to know if there are any tricks to getting Disney to transfer luggage between resorts, and will it take a long time to get our luggage to our next room, or should we take an Uber and check it at the front desk so we have all of the things we need? Thanks. Ashley is in Endwell, New York, 1,162 miles from Walt Disney World. Now, this one's kind of tricky, Pam, because we always talk about the split stays. This is a triple split stay, which I did. But when you're talking about, the only thing I see kind of becoming an issue slightly with this one is that it's a one-night stay and a one-night stay with the split, because they tell you that your luggage can take about 6 hours to make the transition. And you may say, well, it's just down the street, because think about it. All Stars are close to Animal Kingdom and Lodge. But that doesn't matter. Like they can go through like a roundabout way, because one time I went from Pop to Beach Club and my stuff didn't show up for like 8 hours, and it was marathon weekend. So best advice. I mean, I think they're going to be fine going from that Animal Kingdom Lodge to Boardwalk, where they're going to be setting up for 6 nights. But the first 2 nights where it's one night here, one night there, I would probably keep my luggage and do the Uber, wouldn't you?
I would too. We do split stays all the time. Every trip, really and truly. Even if I'm only going to be there 4 nights, I usually am splitting it 2 and 2, just because I want to get the photos of the different resorts. I want to experience them. There's really no substitute for that. So we almost always do a split stay, and we take our luggage most of the time. Now, you absolutely can have Disney do it. Just know, like Mike said, I mean, they don't have one staff person who's just sitting there waiting to transfer luggage for folks. They actually do it at certain times of the day. There's a certain time that they do it. And so it can take an extended period of time. You may not get it till way after you have already checked in. So if it's important to you and you want to have the luggage with you, just take the Uber or take Lyft and go ahead, or a minivan if you want to, and go ahead over to the next resort. Then you have it with you. You can still check it with Bell Services if your room's not ready, and then you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. And that's what I do in that case.
Yeah, they do a good job with the baggage transfer, but I'm just, with that first night, I would just take it with you the first time. And then when you're transferring from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Boardwalk, let Disney handle it, because time's not of the essence at that point. All right, let's get to a question here in the live chat from Katie Lombardo. She says, heading down to Beach Club level with a mixed group, 5 adults, 1 first time, and 1 person will need an ECV. We'll have 2 kids, 5 and 7. Any tips for things we must know when traveling with an ECV? And what would be one extra to add on? Dessert party, event cruise, etc. All right, Rikki. So what would you think about when it comes to taking an ECV to Walt Disney World? Maybe people haven't thought about like chargers or parking it, or there's lots of things. What would you say?
Yeah, well, key is definitely make sure you're charging that at the end of the night. That's definitely key. Because I've heard, I remember wasn't it Steve Hood who was talking about one time, like his ECV at one point died in the middle of one of the parks. I think it was. Yeah, back when he had the ECV. So, definitely make sure you're charging it. Make sure you bring extra stuff. But the nice thing about Disney is that for the most part, most of the attractions will allow your entire party to go through the queue, including the ECV. So you're not going to have to split up or anything like that. You don't really even need to go get the guest assistant pass anymore, because the lines all accommodate pretty much for the most part. So you're pretty well okay there. I would make sure you maybe check in with the cast member out front, for attractions, just to make sure that line is fully accessible. But and if it's not, they will have a plan for you. I haven't gone with the ECV thing, but I did go with my grandmother, who we pushed in a wheelchair, and it was just fine. There are a few attractions where they will have special boats or vehicles for people in wheelchairs if they are not comfortable with getting out of their wheelchair. Now, there are also some attractions that they do need to transfer from the wheelchair to the attraction vehicle, so just keep that in mind. That may be something that they may not get to ride if they can't transfer. So, just that's something also to keep in mind. I know, like the Navi River Journey, like you can't transfer, or you have to transfer. You can't, like, there's no boat for you to just wheel onto or something like that. So, I know that was one of the complaints a lot of people had about that attraction when it was built, when it opened. So, but it's not so hard traveling with ECVs. Just know that, people are going to walk in front of that person and cut them off. And, and that's like the hardest thing is, the other hard thing is make sure, like, they're comfortable, because they're going to have to potentially get on a bus with the ECV. So make sure that not maneuver those ramps very well.
But I feel for him, because
I know,
like,
it's awful.
the first time they hop on that suckers at Walt Disney World, it's not like you can practice for 2 weeks at home. You probably don't have one at all. Most people,
Right.
Exactly.
I'm not joking here. It kind of sounds like a joke, but like, first thing I would do is at my resort, like, practice a 3-point turn. It's kind of driver's ed, because they need that to get on the ramp.
They do, because I think most of the time a lot of times they have to back onto the ramp and go backwards.
I couldn't do it.
No way. I mean, I would definitely need practice. There's, so make sure if in general, if someone gets an ECV and they're not, don't have it all the time, make sure they just kind of practice around the resort a little bit, doing, like you said, Mike, 3-point turns, and backing up and stopping on a dime and, stuff like that, just to make sure that they're comfortable with those kind of things. If they're not normally comfortable with those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice. Now, Pam, do you know if, like, in the park, say you get down to like 10% battery, is there a place? I mean, I guess those just use regular electricity, but I mean, there's so many of them nowadays. Is Disney, it's almost like at the mall where you have like the 10 slots for like Teslas, like you can get some juice. I mean, has Disney not thought of that yet? Like, there's a place where ECVs could kind of go and get a little top it off.
You can. There are different locations where you can plug in, and you can also talk to one of the cast members, and they'll direct you. Most of the ones that people are renting from the different rental places will last all day, believe it or not. You just have to plug them in at night. So just make sure that you do that. Another thing is that most of the rental companies, if they're a good one in the area, will also have trucks in the area that could actually replace your scooter if it's not holding a charge, or you do find that the battery is not lasting the full day. So make sure you think about that. And I don't think there's a ton of things you really have to be aware of, just the things that y'all mentioned. There are a lot of ECVs in the parks. There's a ton of different ones. So it may make it a little challenging at times, but I think it offers just a ton of accessibility to so many people. So go and enjoy. Don't worry about it.
All right, so let's get to the second part of her question, because Pam, we really kind of did that when we were down there in Rikki too. We got to do, and especially you, do a lot of stuff outside the theme parks. I went fishing with Mark Yerkes, Phil, Scott, Paige. Thank you, Mark, for letting us go fishing, and thank you for letting me for once catch the biggest fish. A monster. That thing was huge. Actually, funny story. I'll have to talk about fishing someday on the show, but I pulled the first one out. We were fishing back by where they park all the ferries and stuff. There's like it's kind of like a roundhouse for the monorails, but it's off of Bay Lake back behind the Contemporary. So our guide took us back there. I don't know if we're supposed to go back there, but he did, because he knew we're Disney nerds. And so we went back there. He's like, check this all out. There's the ferry sitting there. It's where it gets gas, and all that, and all the little boat launches. But anyway, go back there. We're fishing in the tall grass, and I pull out the first fish of the day. It's a bass. I get it on the boat. Now I went fishing a couple years ago, so I've done this once before in World Showcase. I'm not a fisherman, just so you know. I'm not. I mean, I'm not like a city boy, but I'm also not a fisherman. Catch the thing, the guy, gets it off the hook and hands it to me for a picture. That sucker bit down on my thumb, and it did have teeth. He said it didn't. It did have teeth. Hit me. I dropped it. It flopped around on the boat, hopped out right over the thing, and went out before I get a picture. Jumped right into the boat. I know. But eventually I got the big guy. So I got my picture with him. I was like, he's going to bite my thumb off because I just want to get a picture. This thing's gigantic. So anyway, so we did a lot of stuff like it. You did a Illuminations cruise.
Mm-hmm. We did.
And one that was incredible. Oh my gosh, I've never seen the electrical water pageant so close.
Oh my gosh, just so close right there from my face, basically.
You have so many extra things, dessert parties, fireworks cruises. So Pam, what would you suggest? You're staying beach club level. Anything you could throw in that might be like one special event they could talk about when they come home?
Wow. And there are so many. We did not go to it, but dang, we heard the music from the H2O Glow Nights. Now that's only going on at certain times, but it was so funny. We were at Old Key West and I'm like, what is that music? Like really and truly. And then we were looking up to see what was still open. It was the H2O Glow Nights. And I'm hearing that people are having a good time at those too. I always really enjoy, the dessert parties. I think that they're really cool. I think though too, the after hour parties are really worth doing too, especially if you're looking for a little extra time in the parks. Those will give you sort of the best of both worlds. They will let you on a bunch of attractions. Your crowd just will be lower. Plus you have ice cream and soft drinks and snacks and things like that included in the price of that. So those get such great reviews. I still think that those are worth really checking out.
All right, let's get to a question from Betsy. She's always here in our live chat, and we appreciate that so much. She says, we're going on a 4-night maritime cruise in December, 153 days. Woohoo! It is our first cruise, and I'm super excited. I'm thinking of arriving a few days early or staying a few days late. Our cruise departs the 16th, so I was thinking the crowds would be nominally better the weekend before the cruise instead of the last weekend before Christmas. Any thoughts? Rikki, what do you see with crowd pattern? I would say before.
Yeah, I mean, I would say before too. Although now you have the wrench of, Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance opening. So I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot at this point. I don't know, man. I mean, I would still say before though. I mean, it's going to be crowded at Hollywood Studios probably. I don't know about the other parks. But yeah, I mean, oh man, tough choices there. I would definitely go before though. I think, yeah. Before.
Or, you could do like a day. If you say you want us to go to, say you want to be in the parks 3 days total besides the cruise, like do 2 days before, 1 day after. Because it makes it so much.
That's true.
1 day, it makes it so much easier to get off the ship. Getting off the ship and going to the airport is brutal.
That is definitely brutal. Yeah. I've split it before. And to me, that is the best way to do it, is to do like 1 or 2 days before and then 1 or 2 days after. I think that's.
I'm just trying to help Betsy so she doesn't
it's true though.
The anchor and say, I'm not getting off this ship. You're going to have to move me with police.
I've had that problem where like I've had to get off the ship and then I had to go home, and like that's awful. That's terrible.
Not fun.
Yeah, I would give yourself at least 1 day at the end. But yeah.
Oh, by the way, that story I was telling, did I say it was a bass? It was a piranha.
Yeah, you're such a liar. Don't even. Yeah. No, liar.
Thanks, George.
Yeah.
All right. Next question says upcoming Disney trip and future planning. It's from Luke. He says, Luke from Pennsylvania here. I'm a new listener and I'm getting ready for a 1-year anniversary Disney trip with my wife this September. 10 days, all-star resorts, room hopping. She's a new Disney recruit and I haven't been there in almost a decade. If all goes well on this trip, we're looking to get into routine trips. With this in mind, is it too early to start planning for 2021? What can I do to prepare? Will the new rides affect a 2021 stay negatively? Hoping for February or September. Keep up the great work, Luke. You know what, Pam? Is it ever too early to plan your next Disney vacation? Is that a question?
It's not ever too early to start like thinking about it, but if you want to actually start like making plans, it's probably too early. Just in terms of that. Because first of all, I don't typically recommend folks to book like the room only and then if they know that they're going to want something with tickets, because it really does. Disney has 2 systems. I know it sounds weird, but they have 2 systems. One's room only, one's packages, and the money does not transfer between the 2. It causes,
It's so weird that they still use a Commodore 64 for their booking.
I know, right? They really do. They haven't even upgraded floppy disk. We're still using
right.
tapes. tapes. Like there's still tapes.
That is Atticus net or whatever that was called.
So anyways, yeah. But even when you can book the room only part, if you're going to want a reservation that includes tickets and or dining, just wait until the packages come out, because then you won't have to start all that. You won't have park hours until about 180 days out. And even then, sometimes those park hours are subject to change, and they will be subject to change right up until the morning of. And things have actually opened early or closed later based on that day. Like Disney adjusted based on whatever and have adjusted at the very last minute. So, I mean, the thing I like to tell people is, don't get too set on your plan. Like they can't be written in stone. You have to have room for changes. You have to adapt. You have to take in the needs of the people that you're traveling them with. Like maybe one day you wake up and you just don't feel like going to the parks that day. That's okay. You're on vacation. You are staying in a beautiful Disney resort. You have a fun pool. Maybe you want to go to Disney Springs and shop and eat to your heart's content. Maybe you just want to sleep late and do something like that. That's all perfectly okay. That's the beauty of a vacation. You get to do what you want. So leave room to adapt and leave room to have some, magical things happen to you. But start thinking about the kind of attractions that you want to see. Start thinking about where you want to stay. Look around at the different resorts. There's so many different Disney resorts. There's going to be a resort that appeals to you and your budget. So keep that in mind. I absolutely always recommend staying on Disney property. I don't think that there's another choice in that space. It's just worth it, I think, all the time. So take that into consideration. And so those are the bare bones of the things that you can start to get ready. Think about the restaurants where you want to eat, and start to make the bones of a plan.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is too, they're going down this fall, trying to get into a routine of going back in 2021. What I always say is, like you said, if you're considering a resort, start to do some recon, start to do some research. And one of the ways I do that is I'll make an ADR at a restaurant near that resort. So if I want to check out Fort Wilderness Trails End, or if I want to go check out the Polynesian Kona or Ohana, I just make, Grand Flow, I'll just Grand Floridian Cafe, something where it gives me a reason to be there. I get to have a good meal. And, like after you eat a meal, it's nothing to maybe walk around the lobby for 20 minutes and check out the transportation options, maybe go to the stores. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. There's, that's the beauty of Disney too. You can start checking out other resorts when you're down there. And as long as you have a reservation, to dine there, you'll be able to get on property. Now you can't use their pools or anything like that. We've talked about that on the show many times, but you can enjoy, the lobby and public areas. So that's awesome.
Let me ask you, because you mentioned about sleeping in on vacation at Walt Disney World. I got to ask both of you this, and I want to ask our listeners, so let me know on Twitter. This will be a fun midweek kind of thing. When I tell myself I'm going to sleep in at Walt Disney World, here's the problem. I always hear people like going down the halls, or like leaving in the morning. You start to hear the doors slam it. I stay at the values, the moderates a lot. You hear the door slam it, and you hear like kids laughing, and you hear like families all excited going outside your window. Like, I'm like, oh, I got to get up, man. I'm missing out. Everybody's going to the Magic Kingdom. Everybody's going to Epcot. Everybody's doing fun stuff. And like, I'm laying here in bed. Or, Rikki, do you get I'm like, I know it's great to sleep in on vacation. You do. But like, I get FOMO. Like, it's 7:30. People are leaving. I'm like, man, I should be up and going. Like, these people are beating me. I can't stand it. Like, I get excited. I can't sleep.
No, I get really ticked off when 7:30 in the morning. I have like another hour I can sleep.
I love it.
Be quiet.
Because you hear like kids like just laughing, like, they're getting ready to go. It's going to be an awesome day. I'm like,
pillow over my head and try to drown out the noise. Like, stop. I'm on vacation. I want to sleep in. Leave me alone. I don't have to get up at 7:30 in the morning today. I get to sleep in today. Come on. Stop.
I just totally know I'm missing the best day ever. Like, I'm missing the best. Like,
no, I have time to have the best day ever. See, I know I have plenty of time to have all the fun I'm going to have. And
You're crazy.
No, it's fine. I'm perfectly happy with the way I vacation, and I like putting the pillow over my head.
All right. whatever. So Pam, do you ever get that? I mean, do you know what I'm talking about, Pam? I mean, like when you hear excited people outside, like I was like, oh, I gotta get out there. I don't know.
I do understand what you're saying in that, but I truly think there is value in not always running to the park. Like I really do. I really and truly enjoy, some of the stuff that the resorts have to offer, or being able to do other things at Disney World. I mean, I'm there so frequently. I don't feel as driven now to go and experience like an attraction that I've experienced 100 times, myself. That now, like if I have plans that day for something that I've been looking forward to, then, absolutely not a problem. And we get up really early to begin with, but I don't feel compelled to like run to the parks every day. So
like I'm missing out. I know better. Like I know, like, do I really need to ride Dumbo for the 78th time?
Right.
Like, no, but it's like, I'm just like, oh, they're having so much fun, especially when I hear kids like running around squealing.
I know, but see, that's what I think. Like it's not great, but I make the most of each day that I'm at Disney, but it doesn't mean that making the most of it is going to the parks always.
That's true.
And this is why Rikki doesn't have kids.
Watch it. All right, Bethany's got a question in our chat. These are good. Going down in March for my husband's work conference at Coronado and staying extra nights. Trying to decide between Pop and Coronado. We're driving, so he'll have his own transportation to his conference every day. Pam, you were just there. We love some Pop Century, and Skyliner's going to be, September 29th, baby. Gondolas everywhere. But it's Coronado all the time, right? I mean, it's and right now it's such a good deal to stay there.
If it wasn't Coronado before, it's Coronado now. Always. Yeah. I love the tower. I just think that it's great. And I think the rest of the resort just looks great too. When you think about the dining options that are there right now, first of all, you have Three Bridges, which is sort of like the geyser point of Coronado. It's the open air bar that sits on the water there. You also have Toledo, which is on the top of the tower, and Dahlia, which is the lounge that's on the top of the tower. And you have Barcelona, which is the sort of coffee and grab and go location located in the lower level of the lobby. There's just so many reasons to stay at Coronado, and specifically Gran Destino right now, that I wouldn't hesitate to stay there. It's all shiny and new, if nothing else, right? I mean, there's nothing I like better than a shiny new smelling hotel. Yes. I'm like the first or second person to sleep in that bed. It all looks good. The cast members are so excited about it. So go and enjoy.
And shout out to Katya Barbetta, who's tuned in right now from the Gran Destino Tower at Walt Disney World as we podcast. So living large. We have another listener. I'm trying to find it. Was back a long time in the chat. She is checking into Gran Destino tomorrow. It's Jennifer. So there you go. God, so fun. I wish I was. Anyway, I had to come home at some point. We'll talk about that on Friday, but I really wanted to stay there. All right. The next question says Spring Break 2020 extras. Hi, Mike and gang. I'm loving the podcast this summer as I prep for my Spring Break 2020 trip. After listening to your podcast over the years and going to Walt Disney World so often, I feel like there are lots of things I can advise friends on, but laughed when y'all talked about Rider Switch. It was so confusing to me, and I have no idea how it works either. We just kind of make it up. No, we kind of know. It's here's how it works. It works the way the cast member at the they basically work.
No, but that's not true. The Rider Switch was never really designed to be used the way that some people are using it. And actually Disney has made steps to do that. It always was really designed so that the people, like if you have 4 people, okay, and 3 are going to ride and 1 cannot. It was designed so that the 3 that are going to ride should have fast passes, all of them. Mm-hmm. You should have a fast pass for that attraction. Now, other people have been using it differently, but if you choose to do it that way, know that the cast member can say to you, that's not how it was designed, and only the people with fast passes are going to ride. Correct. And that's how it is. What it was meant to do was to give maybe the third person, maybe this third person was a child, maybe that child has the option of riding with both people, but they all need to have the fast passes. So
is one of the goals though too, so the adult who stays behind with the kid like doesn't have to ride by themselves when they get to
yes,
so somebody else gets to go again, so that they're not just like, oh well, I get to ride it, but I'm like the loner.
And that's nice that Disney still allows that. Like that's within the parameters of the way that Child Swap was set up. But that's not how some folks have been using it lately. So I'm just going to say whatever. But just know that like that's how things get changed. So.
All right, continuing on with your email, says we're staying at the Polynesian and I'm hoping to sneak in a few extras I've done before, like early morning magic and after hours party and maybe a VIP tour at Animal Kingdom. In your expert opinion, do you think Walt Disney World will still have these perks available after Galaxy's Edge opens? Or do you think those were just fun ways to attract folks prior to the opening of Star Wars and the 50th? Is it just me, or is Galaxy's Edge opening throwing y'all for a planning loop? Instead of planning on adding in those extras, should I just upgrade to club level and buy extra fast passes? My concern is I would spend the extra money and the 2 Star Wars rides wouldn't be on fast pass by March 1st for us to use them on. Would love any recommendations on how to fit in as much fun as possible into 7 days. And I'm taking your advice and spending a day at the Polynesian to enjoy the resort. Thanks. Sherry is down in Dallas. All right. So Rikki, what would you do? I mean, she's looking to, maybe plus it with early morning magic, after hours parties, tours over at obviously tours will stay after Galaxy opens. What about these other events, like before park opening and late night events? I mean, I'd imagine those are being really well received. So I would say those will definitely continue after Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I'm just guessing. What do you think?
I would assume that they will. It's a moneymaker for Disney, and they're not gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna stop making extra money." They will offer those until they stop making extra money for the parks. So I have a feeling they're absolutely going to continue to be offered. I think that you will even potentially, once that 6 o'clock extra morning magic hour stops being offered at Disney's Hollywood Studios, I suspect that will also either be rolled into the early morning magic offering with Toy Story, or be offered instead of, or maybe they might even offer both as options of one on one day, one on the other. Who knows? I can see all of those options happening. So, but I absolutely don't think they're going anywhere at, Disney's Animal Kingdom or the Magic Kingdom, both the morning and the evening versions of those. I mean, they're just, again, hugely popular as people have learned that they exist. At first they weren't so popular, and I was like, well, maybe it's not going to last. But then once people started catching on that, hey, no, these are a really great idea. It's a great way to see the parks and see them with minimal waits. That's when people started learning this is a good thing. So I have a feeling they're going to stick around for a while. Those kind of parties like that. So.
And Rikki and I did a live show Sunday night, which will go out as a podcast on tomorrow, actually on Thursday. So we talked a lot about the monkey wrench that Galaxy's Edge is throwing to the picture this year. So lots of thoughts there.
Yes, lots of thoughts.
Lots of thoughts. So Pam, what about the maybe instead of doing these early morning after hours events, both kind of booking the days and stuff like that, she's thinking about going club level at the Polynesian. Where do you fall on that?
I think I'd wait and see how that all rolls out. I mean, some of the word that we've gotten is, first of all, that the VIP tours are not going to include the Star Wars attraction, at least for the first couple weeks that it's open. So consider that. And I don't know how the fast pass for club level guests will work at that point in time either. And I don't know that they do yet either. They're probably going to be getting there soon, but you'll be able to figure that out. I think with 7 days, you're going to have a good long time. Just know that you're not going to be able to see it all. Pick, a couple of the special things to sort of get you some extra access if you're really looking for that, and then just go and enjoy. It really, you'll find that when you're there, your enjoyment is not dependent on what you're getting, quote, done. It is on the overall experience. And I try to tell that to people. I know people really want to get a bunch of things done, and I totally understand that. I mean, you do. But part of the fun is just being there, and you'll see that when you're there.
especially at the Poly. Oh man,
Yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful resort. It really is. Enjoy some of the recreational activities there. There's going to be some things really that occur at the resort in the evenings, even that you'll want to see. Like there's really something special about seeing the fireworks from the Polynesian beach. That's just really a fun thing. I mean, toes in the sand, listen to the music piped in, and watching those fireworks. Is it the best view? I don't know. Because you don't get to see the castle, but is it one of the better overall experiences? Yes, I would say absolutely it is. So
it's almost like a complimentary view, like
I know, right?
You're on Main Street or in the hub, but you also should, because it's I don't know, it's just that like all encompassing view. Like you see, because when you're so close to the castle, you see it very well. But I mean, it's almost like the seeing it across the water with the reflections and stuff like that. It's just it's beautiful. Yeah, definitely see it there.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. We saw a really incredible view from Kappa, the restaurant at the Four Seasons, I will say. And it was one of my favorite views. It had nothing to do with the fact that those nice people at the Four Seasons let you take your drink out there on the balcony to take while you're watching the fireworks. Plus, we were enjoying a really great meal and not having to fight the crowds. But anyways, it was gorgeous. So, there's something to be said about not being there sometimes.
I've only heard about that meal from Scott like 17 times.
It was literally fantastic. We'll have to do a show on it because let me tell you, I have really great dreams about that broccoli. I know,
about
right?
Broccoli, okay.
The broccoli was fantastic. I mean, the steaks, the drinks, the appetizers, and everything were so good.
What broccoli?
But that broccoli, yes. In fact, I came home while I was actually on vacation. I Googled, recipes for that, trying to figure out what they did. It was really unique, and I'm making it this week, so we'll see how it turns out.
Awesome. So here's how it went the next day after you guys went to that restaurant, because we went to the parks and we took Emily. Or did Emily go with you? No,
Emily was with us. Yeah.
Okay, but she went the other night with us. We just went to the parks that night because we knew it was like fancy. So the next day, Scott's like, Mike, I had this margarita. He said the food was awesome. He said, just in this restaurant, it was amazing. He's like, I had this margarita. There was no salt on the rim. He's like, the salt was in the air. It was like in the bubbles. I'm like, what? And he tried to explain how this margarita had like salt that was infused or something like in air bubbles.
Yeah.
To compliment the margarita. I was like,
crazy.
Yeah. So we got to definitely do a show on that and hear all about that. So I don't know about that. All right. Rhonda Lee's got a question. She says, I've been purchasing Disney gift cards. Yes, I've been combining them into one card. My question is, do you think it is the best way for me to use them to pay for the cruise or hotel, to pay for excursions, or pay for food and merchandise? Thanks in advance, Rhonda. Doesn't really matter, Rikki, right? I mean, I like to put them just towards the balance of the trip, just to get them out of the way, so you don't have to carry them around, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm always more of a let's buy something fun with it. So that's kind of my theory. I save my gift cards, like when I get gift cards for my birthday or whatever, I save them for fun things. So that's kind of my theory. But I mean, yeah, spend it how you want to spend it. So.
I mean, you could look at it as like bonus money. I mean, it sounds like she's been using it, save up kind of budgeting wise to pay things down.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Do we ever? I mean, it takes discipline though to not say that's like fun money.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I use it as fun money. So yeah.
All right, let's get the last question of the day. It says, help us find where to eat. You've come to the right show.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mike, Pam, and Rikki. My husband, our friend, and myself will be making our way down to Walt Disney World at the end of September to enjoy food and wine and hopefully Galaxy's Edge while staying at Pop Century. Ooh, you're going to get to ride the gondolas if you're there at the very end. We have a couple of food, drink-related questions about our trip. Number one, has the reopening of Mizner's Lounge at the Grand Floridian been given a date with the Beauty and the Beast retheming? If not, where's the best place to grab a drink on the first night of our trip that's out of the parks? We'll be flying into MCO at about 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. If this isn't a Pam Forrester question, there is
I don't know what it is.
You know what? Mizner's not open right now. It's the Grand Floridian Orchestral Society's down on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I actually kind of like that. The bar's kind of a mess. You got to go behind them, and it's kind of a little pop-up bar. But I like having the orchestra right there and on the floor for just a little bit. It's really neat to see up close. I mean, you're like right there. And those guys are such great musicians. But where should they get a drink with Mizner's? And do we know if it's the date when it's going to reopen?
No,
No.
they have wisely not stated that. So no,
Yes.
I don't know. There are so many great places at Walt Disney World to get a drink. I think if you're looking for someplace on the monorail line, you might want to consider Trader Sam's because it's a Disney experience in addition to just being a cool place to be. If you're open to other locations, Geyser Point at Wilderness Lodge is one of my favorites because it's open air and sits right out there on the water. It's beautiful. There are locations at the Contemporary too. You can even go up to California Grill and sit at the bar and have a drink there or in the lounge. But almost every deluxe resort is going to have a good place to get a drink. I'll give another nod to Victoria Falls, which is at the Animal Kingdom. Plus then you have an excuse to go over to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is always a great location. It sort of looks over Boma and sort of the hustle and bustle of stuff, but it's a fun location too. But just every location at Walt Disney World in each of the deluxe resorts is going to have some place that you want to check out.
All right. The second question is, we have time for breakfast or brunch on the day we're leaving at Disney Springs or at a resort. What's the best place for these meals to round out our trip and say, see you real soon to Walt Disney World? Thanks, as always, for your wonderful advice, Stephanie. You know, if your last day is a Sunday, the Sunday brunch at Homecoming, done it twice. Hallelujah biscuit, baby. I love that thing.
So good.
It's that's not even a word. I'm saying that like it's so good is not even like fair. It's so stinking good. I'm like, my mouth's watering thinking about it right now. It's terrible.
Those biscuits, though.
Yes, everything. Oh my gosh,
biscuits are great.
If like on the weekends, we also did a brunch over at Olivia's. That was really good too. Because you can chicken or breakfast food. It didn't matter.
It's true. And I think one of the places we've always got to give a shout out to in terms of breakfast is the Wave. It's a great buffet lunch. And listener Tim, we had the chance of meeting at our Epcot meet. We really enjoyed that. Tim, I'm going to be there someday when you are because we go there frequently.
Yes.
The other thing we did on our last morning, we went to actually Whispering Canyon, which actually has 3 breakfast skillets now available. There is one that it was sort of the traditional one. There's one that is a healthy one that has muesli and some other, healthier options, a egg white frittata. And then there's one that has brisket on top of it. So Steve and Hannah had gotten one of the one of those skillets, and I had ordered something from the menu a la carte, but that's what I like about Whispering Canyon is so you have the option of both. But my favorite brunch by far is Homecoming. It just really is, like Mike said, it's just good. The drinks are good. The food is good. The service is always fantastic. So
I even got a squeeze bottle. I didn't get moonshine. I got a Coke, but I got the squeeze bottle, so I'm good to go because you have free refills with that one.
I know, right? You get free refills of, like the soft drinks.
Yep.
But yeah, those moonshine drinks are very good. So
I've heard. I had a flight once last time I was there, and I don't think moonshine and Mike work out very. It tastes like jet fuel. It was hot. That stuff was strong.
These drinks though aren't like that. So.
The ones maybe I'm kind of an amateur at that stuff. So Rikki, do you have any go-to brunch or breakfast locations, like especially for a last day? You want to have that last hurrah before you head to the airport.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Pam. I think the Wave is excellent. I've always had great breakfast there. The problem with brunch is it's really only offered on the weekends at Walt Disney World. Yep. So if you're wanting a brunch and it's like a Tuesday, you are out of luck, which is so unfortunate. Because when you think about it, like how unfortunate everybody's on vacation.
That's true.
I mean,
every day be a weekend.
Every day should offer a brunch option. Now, the one place that I think offers brunch every day is Chef Mickey's. If I remember right, I do believe they offer a brunch every single day. And that's not bad. It is expensive because it's Chef Mickey's, but at least, it's a good brunch option. I mean, if you are leaving and that's your only meal for the day, basically, I would definitely look into that. Plus, you get the characters, so that part's cool. If it is a Sunday, you might want to consider Maria and Enzo's, or you might want to consider Wine Bar George as well. And then, of course, I will mention my favorite place to grab breakfast, which is Ale and Compass, because they have the chocolate waffles, and they are fantastic. So.
And I bet. Do they still do the House of Blues Sunday gospel?
They do, yes. Yeah. House of Blues does the Sunday one too. Yeah.
I'm fun to do that.
It's disappointing. It's only on Sundays that they do.
It's like going to church. It's gospel.
That part makes sense. I just meant like, it's just disappointing that brunch is only offered on Saturday or Sunday. And it's like, oh, I wish I could go every day.
So you have two causes now, Rikki. One, we need a 24-hour diner.
24-hour diner, two brunch
every day.
I just really like breakfast. Can you guys tell that breakfast is like my favorite meal of the day? I mean, seriously,
I can get behind you though. Both of those things are solid campaign.
Cake for breakfast. I mean, look, I'm having waffles or French toast or something that's completely not healthy. So, I mean, it's not like I'm grabbing a biscuit with chicken like you did at homecoming.
It had everything. It didn't just have chicken. It had everything.
It did have everything. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, well, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for the great questions. Send those into Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get to those right away. Also, join us. We usually record live on Monday nights around 5:30 Eastern. You can drop in with your questions, get right to the top of the queue. And don't forget, today's show brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News, Disney Edition. Rikki, so much news. Give us something in 30 seconds. What are we reading?
Oh my gosh. Gondolas. But we already knew that. So September 29th, t-shirts at Be Our Guest. So Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. It is our favorite fireworks show to say because you got to throw in the bam. Anyway, it is returning to Disney's Hollywood Studios once again this holiday season. It is Christmas in July, as we know. So it will take place from November 8th through January 5th. And for those who don't know what the show is about, it takes the story of, oh no, Santa Claus is gone, and Lanny and Wayne from ABC's Prep and Landing short are on the hunt for Santa, and you have to go and find him with the duo, and you get to see all great Christmas shorts and things like that. Like one of my favorites is Pluto's Christmas Tree, or Mickey's Christmas Carol, and then they also throw in, of course, Nightmare Before Christmas and some other holiday festivities as well. But it's a great little fun show. I think it's super entertaining, and I think it's something that a lot of people skip or don't think about because they're thinking about Magic Kingdom and Christmas. And like we've said the past year, Disney's Hollywood Studios is the place to be for Christmas.
It is totally. Do you think they'll have like stormtroopers with like Christmas hats on?
No, we'll see what they have in Galaxy's Edge for Christmas. It'll be interesting. I don't know if they'll have anything the first year.
They shouldn't have anything because it's supposed to be themed. They don't have Christmas on another planet.
Definitely. Don't they have like Wookiee Life Day or something? Isn't that what that stupid holiday special is about? I don't know. It's something. Is that it, Pam? Did I get it right? Wookiee Life Day? I don't know. What is it called?
Let's pull out the Wookiee Christmas movie. Let's get it out. There is not some kind of incorporation of that into Galaxy's Edge.
It's
a missed opportunity for sure. I'm starting my email right now. Yes. Dear sirs
or madam,
I noticed a decided lack of Wookiee Christmas.
I still miss Star Wars weekends where Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers would break dance to MC Hammer.
Correct. Yes. Those were the days.
Those were the days. Like in 5 years, we're gonna say, was that real? Like, did we ever
that happened?
Darth Vader break it down? Because he did.
He did.
Oh God, the good old days. Anyway, so with long ad there, but check them out. Lots of great news. Probably more newsworthy than what we just talked about. Don't forget Amazon. We have a great link over there, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. We do that online shopping. We appreciate that so much. Also, give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. And of course, we've got a great Facebook page at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, come back on Friday. We've got a live show for you tomorrow. So 3 shows in 3 days. Get ready. Plan your next 3 days, your next 72 hours. You got a budget because you got a lot of podcasts to listen to. But we're talking Gran Destino Tower and Coronado Springs on Friday. So make sure you're here. So for Rikki and Pam, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work. And we'll see you real soon. See that bad boy. God, I'm so hungry now that we talked about homecoming. Man, that biscuit is so good. I don't know how many calories it is. It's probably 5,000, but it's so good.
Right?
Did you hear Len say how many calories were in that Kylo Ren cupcake on his show today?
A ton.
Almost 1,100 in that one cupcake.
God. Well, that's why you split it in half and then you eat 500.
Yeah, I've ate that whole thing before.
I'm pretty sure I have. That. Like it was like one time where I was driving home and I was like, I'm gonna get a cupcake for the road, and then I just ate the whole thing before I left.
morning I was running, I was like, dude, I got to run like a half marathon to run that sucker off. That was crazy.
That's a lot of
Oh my gosh. Jeff, we're doing another show, so just stay tuned. Okay, here we go. So this is 15, 14. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1513 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. We hope that you're ready to have a great weekend. Hopefully this week was productive, and you know, it's always good to say you had a busy week, especially when you hit Friday because it's behind you. So let's just set up a great weekend. And the best way to do that is kick it off by talking some Disney, and lots of fun stuff to talk about today because I love Walt Disney World Resorts. And Rikki and I had a conversation that, bam, all of a sudden Coronado Springs just about done. And it's been a construction site forever. So joining me today for this fun conversation, we have Rikki from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. Any big plans this weekend, Rikki? What's going on?
Well, we are so maybe I'm not entirely sure. My birthday is on Tuesday of next week, so I'm not sure what Brian has in store for me. I know he wants to take me to the melting pot, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen like this weekend or if it's going to happen on my birthday. So we'll see what happens. So.
Do you guys feed each other fondue?
No, we're
not.
You
guys are so romantic.
Is this romantic? No, romantic. I have to say. So no, I will eat my own chocolate. He can have his.
Okay, so the world needs to know: has Brian replaced his pocket knife that he lost at Walt Disney World?
Okay, so it wasn't a pocket knife. First of all, let me stress it was an actual knife, not pocket.
Well, he's like Crocodile Dundee of the South, I guess.
Like a Crocodile Dundee knife, and no, he has not replaced it. And if I was a good wife, I would have bought him a new one, and I haven't. So I'm not a good wife. No.
I mean, if you buy him one, then he's just gonna get in trouble next time you take him to Walt Disney World. He's gonna have another knife.
Yeah, because he's inevitably going to carry it with him again because he is. I love him, but he's blonde, and sometimes he doesn't think about things. So
we love Brian. Brian is the greatest.
We do love Brian. He just brings giant knives and
he's like, I should have just thrown it in the bush. I'm like, no, you probably should have just thrown it in the bush. You probably got tased.
You got tased, bro. No, that probably would have been good.
Brian got arrested.
Here's the thing, like he's like widely talking about it in front of a security cast member, and I could see this cast member, and he's not dressed in like the security clothes, but he's got like the name tag on him, and he's dressed in like plain clothes, and I'm like, yeah, dude, let's not do that. Let's just like, you have two choices. You can say bye-bye to the knife, or you can go back to Pop Century on the bus. I'll see you later. I'm going in Epcot, so pick your poison. So yeah, that was him.
And that's what makes a marriage work, ladies and gentlemen, right there. All right, also joining us.
That is what almost 13 years of marriage does. So, yeah.
All right. Also, the star of today's show, she is just back from a great Walt Disney World vacation, including one of the very first folks to stay at Coronado Springs in the Gran Destino Tower, Pam Forrester. Pam, what do you have going on for this weekend? Do you have any weapons you're going to replace? Or anything like that?
I didn't take any weapons in, so none were confiscated at all. So
smart lady.
I feel good about that. That's it. I'm sad that I'm not at Gran Destino Towers anymore, I guess.
So let's just jump in and talk about that because we were just dying for you to get back because, Rikki and I were, she got to swing by before she went home. I was watching her on Find My Friends, very jealous that she was over there at Coronado Springs having a good time. We had to get. And so I didn't get a chance to get over there and check it out. So it's been, like I said, I feel like, because I stay at Coronado quite frequently, at least once a year. And it's my top moderate. It really is. I mean, it just feels a little bit nicer than the others. I think it's been given a little bit more love by Disney lately. And, prior to the tower being finished, it was still a very nice place to stay. But would you say this is kind of like the crown on top of the resort at this point?
It really is. It's sort of the culmination of all of this, the reimagining that we've seen Coronado really transformed over the last couple of years. It started with the room renovation. They redid those rooms, and it really has culminated with this beautiful new Gran Destino Towers, which they've just done a spectacular job at. They really have. And the lobby for the Coronado, in terms of your check-in, has moved in over to Gran Destino. So no matter where you're staying at Coronado, you'll have the opportunity to see this great new space.
So walk us through, you were staying, at a different resort. You transfer over to Grand on the day that it opens. So for one thing, like just for the folks who don't get the chance to do this, what's it like being at a resort on day one? I'm sure the cast members are super excited to welcome the first guests. I mean, what's that all about?
It was, and they were. So we actually had the opportunity, the agency got invited to a preview event, and Hannah actually attended on my behalf. So that was really nice that she had that opportunity. They had a dedication ceremony. The cast members were incredibly pumped. I mean, just really proud of their space and their location. And when you walk into, actually, when you drive up to, first of all, there's a beautiful fountain and you see the tower, and it's gorgeous. It really, even from the outside, reminded me so much of Barcelona. And when you walk in, you'll see a lot of those touches throughout. But that's what I thought of when I saw this. And really, Coronado has sort of transformed from being like something that is just like the Southwest to something that more encompasses like the cultures of Mexico and the Southwest and Spain in a way. So I really appreciate that. And when you walk into the lobby, you actually enter on, sort of the second floor, and you see this expansive area, and there's a lower floor down below that you can see too. There are so many colors. And it's just sort of grand. It really is. And like I said, it does remind me so much of Barcelona. So a lot of the artwork and the theming in this lobby was sort of inspired by the collaboration between Walt Disney and Salvador Dali. They had completed this short animation film together called Destino. And they actually have the film playing. It's a little existential. It's a little out there. No, truly it is. As Salvador Dali really is. But there are little touches from this that you see throughout the resort, and they're incorporated in a way that really makes sense. But this gives nod to that. The film was actually started by Walt Disney and Salvador Dali, and it was actually only released, in the last like 10 years or so. It's not that long ago. So it is odd, but there are lots of little touches around the resort that you'll see. And most importantly, are these little dandelion wisps that you'll see. There's a lot of that going on. But for all you folks who are like, well, where's the Disney? Well, there's tons of Disney, including lots and lots of hidden Mickeys in the lobby. So
and that's what I'm glad to see, because, I go to Walt Disney World Resort to get the Disney touches, like I've stayed at the Swan and Dolphin, and they were super nice, but like I just felt like, I'm missing why I'm here. So Rikki, you got to visit some of the, you didn't stay there, but you visited some of the public areas. So what were your initial thoughts on theming and scope and just general, thoughts on the resort?
Yeah, I agree with Pam. I feel like it's very grand. It's very, very beautiful, very opulent. I felt like opulent. It feels like the right word for this hotel. And it really takes that idea of a moderate and turns it on its head completely. I mean, this feels deluxe, as far as the lobby area goes. I mean, it is, and the rooms as well, it's simply gorgeous, what they've done here. They use a lot of, like Pam said, bright, vibrant colors. And what's cool is they have this wall that runs along the back half that changes color as well. So 1 minute you'll be looking at it and it might be, red, and it will be red for a very long time. And then you come back to it and you look at it and it's, got hints of purple, and, it's changing into blue, and that's really cool. And they use color so very well at this resort. And obviously that makes sense if they are, kind of going with the Salvador Dali idea behind it. That makes a lot of sense. there's tons of kind of seating areas, nooks and crannies for people. This definitely does feel, you know, it has a little bit of a feel of a convention type hotel, just in the amenities they are offering for people to be able to experience. So they have these couches that are all have USB plugs, so you can plug in while you're sitting there if you're just waiting for somebody. Or they have these tables that you can go to that you can either work at, or you can have like conferences if you need to, or if you are a family, you can just kind of sit and gather, and if it's the beginning of the day or the end of the day, just kind of come together as a group. I did see down this little alcove, there was like this conference section that was completely open, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. Like for people to have like an actual conference meeting if they needed to. The rooms are gorgeous too, like Pam said. I mean, they are absolutely stunning. Totally top notch, all the bells and whistles, everything you could hope for in a room. Very plush, very, very nice. I also loved that they did have, going back to the main lobby, I love that it was a two-story lobby. I love that you walked into the second story and then you went down into another like seating area. Again, lots of seating. And then there was the bar right there too. And the bar was expansive. I mean, it was very large for people to come grab a drink, maybe grab appetizer, small plate. That was really nice as well. Just lots of places to mix and mingle, I feel like, and come together in the lobby, which was really nice too. So I liked it a lot, actually.
And of course, it is a conference hotel, but I like that I think it's smart that I think there's more and more guests nowadays. I mean, I think of myself, I think of Pam, I think of Rikki, all three of us, like even when we're on vacation, we may not be at a conference, but more and more you're going to see a guest that brings their laptop or, you have to just check in, maybe every couple of days you fire up the laptop, check your emails, just make sure everything's going right back at the, your job, everything's fine, folks that are making things go well. And I think, that having that nook and cranny where you can, maybe grab a drink and sit down for 30 minutes, get some reassurance, answer a couple emails, and go on through vacation. I think those things are going to be more and more important as time goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And there are a ton of those kind of places at this resort for you to just kind of steal away and do that. Lots of plugs, lots of USB ports. That's one thing I noticed. Like they are heavy on the plugs and USB ports in the lobby area for sure. So. Yeah.
Can't have enough. All right, Pam, walk us through your room. Like, what was your stay like? What are the accommodations like that you got to experience?
So we experienced both a standard room in the lobby, which was beautiful, very similar to the rooms that are in the rest of the resort, but not exact. There are some subtle differences and changes. So all the things that you like about the other resorts, the other resort rooms, you'll find in these rooms, and you'll find some additional little touches too. I actually was staying in one of the deluxe suites. So this had club level or concierge access and had a living room, a sleeping area, master bathroom, and then like a powder room as well. Off of I know, right? So it was really stunning and beautiful and just a great space to be in. We really, really enjoyed that. They did a great job with the furnishings, I think, in keeping them in theme with the rest of the resort. The bedroom was really, it has a king bed, and the bathroom was really stunning too. They did a great job with that. But I will tell you, my room was located on the 15th floor. One of the things that was spectacular was the view. And our room literally had a view from Everest at Animal Kingdom over to Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom. It was we saw that much of the property, and I was completely amazed by that, really and truly. I mean, now Cinderella's castle was really far away, but still, that's what our view was. It really and truly was. The bed looked toward the window. There was all along the back part of the suite, there was, these huge windows. And even in the master bathroom, there was as well. They frosted the glass up until a certain point, but still, like when I was taking a shower in the morning, I could look out and see like the view because, it's not frosted from that point there. So they really did a great job with that. And this, by the way, is the first Disney moderate to offer concierge services. They used to offer something like this at Coronado. They sort of called it business class. It was sort of concierge light. They didn't have all the offerings of the concierge service, but this is the Kronos Club, which is the Kronos comes from the word time, which is part of the whole Salvador Dali thing. But this is full concierge services offering all the times that the regular concierge services on Disney property are offering. They start at 6:30 offering coffee. Then from 7 to 11 is continental breakfast. From 12 to 4 are light snacks in the afternoon. From 5 to 7 are hors d'oeuvres. And from 8 to 10 are the desserts and cordials. That's standard for all Disney concierge. They had some great food offerings, really and truly. They did. Like one night, one of the appetizers was like lamb chops. I mean, like legit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had lots of other hot and cold appetizers, but they did, a lot of that. In the morning, they had eggs and bacon and danishes and things like that for breakfast. So had lots of choices. They have, which all the Disney concierge lounges usually has a fancy coffee maker, which makes good lattes and cappuccinos and espressos. They do as well. They have a refrigerator stocked with soft drinks, and then later on in the day, beer and other drinks. They have tea services. They do a good job, and it's something that you may want to consider if you'll be at the resort and can take advantage of that.
And can I just mention how awesome is that elevator? So we had an elevator like this when we stayed in Paris, but basically it's very different than most elevators that you've ever been to. So instead of just pushing the up or down button, you actually put in your room number or the floor that you're going to, I guess I should say. And then it will tell you which elevator you are going to board, and they're all labeled at the top of A, B, C, D, E, and F, I think, or something like that. It just depends on how many elevators there are. So you will then look for the elevator that corresponds with what floor that you're going on to, and then you'll board that one. So that part is really cool too. It's completely different than how we're used to taking an elevator at this point.
And that's the kind of stuff I love as a tech nut. Like I love stuff like that. That's like, it's like the next generation of an elevator. And speaking of that, Pam, don't the TVs, they're kind of next level experience interactivity in the rooms themselves, right?
They really are. So this is something that we heard a little bit about before they opened, but these are TVs that are designed to have the functionality that we haven't seen before at many of the Disney resorts. You will eventually be able to view your portfolio. It has different options at the bottom, so you can choose to see park hours and things like that. It also has the ability, which is something I really appreciate. So one of the things when you first turn it on, it has background music and this is something that we've heard about, I think, from guests for a long time. They were like, I'm staying at this resort. This resort has so many great background loops and music. I would really like to be able to do that in the room, and they've not really had this. Well, this is the opportunity to bring some of that into your actual rooms. We actually kept that station on quite a bit just to hear the loop. It really sort of helps theme that experience for you. And I'm really, excited that they've done this. I think this is something I would love to see roll out to the other resorts for sure.
So did the rooms, let's talk to like room size compared to like, say, over at the Casitas or the Ranchos or Cabanas, whatever, comparable room size?
Yes.
We're in like same, like, because those rooms are very, forward thinking with the USB plugs and stuff like that. I mean, inefficient for people to work. I'd imagine that's really important at Coronado, that there is a workspace, not only in the public areas, but also in your room.
Yes, absolutely. All those great amenities that we saw when they redid the rooms at Coronado, the addition of plugs and USB ports and all of that large, dresser that has the expansive area to put things. I think the putting of things is really important when you're on vacation. Like, where are you going to put all the stuff? The fact that the beds are on the platform and you can go ahead and slide your luggage underneath, the functionality of the closets, I think is really good in these rooms too. They just, I always think of these room renovations that Disney is doing as thoughtful. It's really thoughtful. Like, as some of the other types of rooms are sort of old school in terms of hotel design, right? You feel like there was someone in there thinking about possibly the theming, but not really thinking about how someone was going to use this room. And that's not the case now, as you see Disney renovate even the value resorts like Pop Century. They thought about how people are going to use this room, and they met those needs, and they've done it here at Coronado again too.
Yes. How do you use a table?
Right.
That's not an upcoming podcast. We'll talk about that. Live at Walt Disney World, and it was late Friday night, and it was porn. Anyway, it's coming up very soon. We want to get these out there right away. All right, so I know we can't really do a huge deep dive into the dining and bars and stuff within Gran Destino Tower. We'll do that down the line here very soon. But what can the average guest? You're staying at Gran Destino here in the next couple of months. You get a little hungry. You want to have a drink before dinner. What options do you have that are new to Coronado Springs?
Well, that's awesome, because there are 3 new dining locations in Gran Destino, and in addition, 3 Bridges, which is located on the lake, has opened up. So we'll talk about 3 Bridges first. It is sort of an open air bar that sits on the water there. They have appetizers and sandwiches and things like that, as well as drinks, and it's great. We ate there. I really enjoyed it. They had lots of really interesting options, and we had great service there. It's a beautiful and comfortable location. Now, in Gran Destino, there is the Barcelona, which is it's sort of a colorful bar. It's located in the lower lobby. It's really inspired by Gaudi. If you've seen any of his works in Barcelona, it's colorful.
It's very colorful.
It's really interesting and really looks a lot like some of the Gaudi buildings that are in Barcelona. It is going to be open for coffee and specialty coffee. They're going to have those coffees that have the really cool Mickey and Minnie and things like that, on top of it. So love that. They're going to have some grab and go food items available too, and are going to have drinks and some appetizers in the afternoon and the evening. Then on the 16th floor, you're going to find Dahlia, which is the lounge for the resort. It is going to feature appetizers and drinks. It has an indoor and outside component to it. You'll be able to see some of the fireworks from there over at the studios and possibly Epcot, but it's not really being sort of put out there as a fireworks viewing location proper, in that it's not piping in the music and things like that. So take that under advisement. And then also Toledo is the full service restaurant. It is a 1 credit meal, which I think right now is a huge bargain because the food is really good. Again, because it is Spanish inspired, there's lots of tapas available, but there's full entrees, and everything we had was really good. We tried a bunch of different things. They have things like savory churros. They have some good steaks. They have lots of Spanish cheeses and meats and all of that. So it's definitely worth checking out.
So let me ask you about that restaurant, because it intrigues me, and I'll probably call it Toledo's because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, but I guess it's Toledo's.
Toledo, yes.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, that's how I know I'm not pronouncing things correctly usually. So what's the atmosphere comparable to at that restaurant? Because I was thinking it was going to be very upscale feeling, almost like a California grill. But then when you say it's only 1 credit, it's not a signature dining location, I'm kind of like confused on like the comparisons. Like what other restaurant would you compare that to?
So it really has a unique feel and look about it. It's sort of dim. There's some trees in the middle. There's this beautiful expansive sort of roof that is backlit and again, very colorful. And it's hard to really say it is like something like this, because when you think about other 1 credit locations, I think of like Kona, but that's like open to the lobby. This is very set apart from everything. So, I would say it does feel more upscale than a lot of other, one credit locations, but I don't want people feeling like, they have to seem like it's too like fancy or whatnot, because in a lot of ways it's also very casual. Like the whole tapas experience, the whole sharing of appetizers and meals and stuff like that, I think it lends a casualness to it. But the food was really good. They're putting out some good food there, so it is definitely worth checking out.
And I will say too, with Coronado, just because, this is what I do every day, all day, is that, and we've seen this over the past, I would say, year or so, that especially if you have some kind of a discount, like an annual pass holder, or, there was the summer offer that's out there, stuff like that Coronado Springs and even some of these tower rooms right now. And I'll say that, I've been looking club level compared to the other deluxe resorts. Club level is, I hate to say this, but it's almost a steal to give it a shot now before the prices may increase down the line in a couple of years when the word gets out. I just think that, the time is now, if you're going in the next 6 months, to give Gran Destino a shot, because I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And of course, the rates will probably never be lower, because I think they're trying to get people to bite and to try it, because, I don't know, Pam, how do you feel about that? I just think, I evangelize Coronado all the time. But I think, kind of like Carousel Progress, now's the time. Now's the best time to get over there. I just feel that way.
That's right.
No, I agree. We saw a specific Disney Visa offer geared towards Gran Destino Towers. I think being able to have the different types of rooms that are available there is really, a nice option. Club level, I would absolutely consider upgrading. If you are staying at Coronado and aren't staying club level, I would be tempted to add that on too, especially at this point. Like you said, Mike, you're really sort of getting in at what is sort of a bargain price for this. So it is definitely worth checking out.
So what would you tell somebody that is, they're getting ready to go to Gran Destino? We have a lot of folks who've been excited for this for a long time, and they're going down, August, September, October. Is there anything that's different about a stay at Gran Destino rather than, the old Coronado Springs? Like, I always stayed in Casitas, is it going to change that you're not going to go over to not Pepper Market, but El Mercado del Coronado, or, Rick's Lounge? Is it going to change how you vacation with the tower there now?
Sort of, in that I think what the transformation of Coronado has done is it has made everything so much more accessible. Now, one of the biggest complaints about Coronado was that it was a large resort, and the adding of these bridges has really made getting from one side of the resort to another side much quicker and much simpler. And from the towers itself, you can walk from the towers over to the other building where El Mercado is without stepping outside. It is actually a covered, climate-controlled walkway. So you'll be able to do that. And I think that's the thing that people really have to take away from this is Coronado. It's not just the fact that there's a tower. It's not just the fact that they've added bridges. They've added like a functionality to the resort and an accessibility to the resort that was really never there before. And then with the addition of the amenities that came in when you think about Gran Destino, the other locations, the other dining, the ability to just sort of hang out in that really cool lobby. There's tons of seating there. And you'll be able to, do that. It's just another location. They added a fire pit over there by Gran Destino. So they'll be doing activities like that in the evening. The bus stop now doesn't stop at the other building. It now stops near Gran Destino. But I think it's really just added a functionality to the resort that it may not have had in the past. And your options for staying there have just sort of been multiplied in terms of room types, in terms of dining, in terms of just fun.
I can't, because I love Coronado, and it's a great location, just geographically within the property. You're very centrally located. And Rikki, I'm looking at your crystal ball here, Rikki. I think, and again, this is just me spitballing, but I would say in 5 years, the gondolas are going to go to Coronado. It just makes sense. Get conventioneers around the place. If you can get them right across World Drive, you're right there to Epcot.
Oh yeah, I think. It's the gondolas are clearly that was the first phase. I mean, this is the first phase. No doubt in my mind. They will be crisscrossing all the way across the resort for sure. To me, I think it's only a matter of time before we see them expand into other resorts for sure.
I think so. All right, Pam. So let's wrap this one up for Gran Destino Tower. We'll dive into some of the details later, but final words on, being there day one and sharing that experience and getting people pumped up for their stays coming here in the fall.
So we've always sort of referred to Coronado as like deluxe light, right? Because it just had so many amenities, and now it's like super deluxe light.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. The theming is just so, it's relatable, but it's so nice. It's so well done. They just did a great job, the designers of that. The rooms are fantastic. The rooms at Coronado are more functional than some of the rooms at some of the deluxe resorts on Disney property. They just are, in terms of the storage under the bed, the plugs and the things that we've talked about. It's just that nice. And now with all these dining locations, like, I could go to Coronado and just not go to the parks, really. By the time I, had the pool there, and they have the main pool, but then also quiet pools, the dining, my love of that resort, like you, Mike, is just over the top. I think it's totally worth checking out if you have the opportunity to do so this fall before things get crazy and there's still some availability. Go ahead and do it. If you're planning 2020 vacations, consider a stay at Coronado. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
All right. Well, I'm so excited to get back down to my favorite place. So I'll be maybe September 29th, looking pretty good. That's another reason to go. So we'll see what happens. All right. Thanks so much, Pam. We appreciate it. And glad you had a great trip, and glad to have you back.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. So if you want to head to Gran Destino and drink at Barcelona, and it sounds so exotic, doesn't it? I mean, it just sounds great. Like, get down there, do it this fall. Check out all the details over at themagicforless.com. While you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and an agent will get back to you right away. And you may be surprised. I mean, sometimes you get surprised the wrong ways with prices, but you know what? Coronado is a value right now. So check it out. And we're going to take great care of you. So again, themagicforless.com. Check out our Amazon affiliate link anytime you do that online shopping. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. We sure appreciate that. And give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BeOurGuestPod and at BeOurGuestMike. And of course, drop by the Facebook page at Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, we're going to be back again on Monday, where we have a show we recorded live at Give Kids the World.
Yes.
That one, Rikki. So we'll get to the other one later.
The other one later. Okay, got it. All right. The Give Kids the World one is awesome. So if you have it,
because we got served ice cream for breakfast.
We absolutely got served ice cream for breakfast, and it was delicious.
All right, so we hope that you have a great weekend. We'll be back again on Mondays. For Pam and Rikki, this is Mike wishing you an awesome weekend. But whatever you do, stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. Yay! Good
Yay, that's right.
That's kind of covered everything. Good.
I hope so. Now I want to eat at Toledo's again.
Right?
Tell me about it. That sounds good.
I was
worried it would be kind of too upscale for me.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's a really cool looking restaurant. It's just that
so
you're not.
Looking. I thought it would be like super fancy because it's like, oh my god, it's so cool. Like it's at the top of the tower.
It's not. It's just a nice looking restaurant. So
I'm in. All right. Well, I will catch you guys next Monday.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
All right.
Place.
All right. See you all later.
Okay.
Have a good night.